Welcome, everybody. Mike Martinez, and I got a good friend and mentor of mine in the public adjusting business. As you guys know, I've been a public adjuster for about 7 years, but when I first got started, I worked out of the Cherry Hill office, and I found this striking, handsome young man at the time that was
Oh,
just
yeah.
training out there and had this broad, big, great smile, and I was just enamored by his style and his method of training and all that good stuff. And I have the honor of being able to interview him today. We're actually going to have a conversation that hopefully will be entertaining and you'll be able to learn from it. But I want to introduce to you regional manager, President's Award winner this year in this year's convention, which is the highest award our company gives, Mr. Akey Ahiem, who's also a reverend, right, Akey?
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Associate minister at my church, New Salem Baptist Church in Trenton, New Jersey. Uh, I don't know how you follow all that. The Mike just accolades Mike just gave me. I think he put it on kind of thick there, but some of it is true. And I remember meeting Mike back then, and he always says I'm his mentor. We go back and forth about this because I call him Master Mike because I got into the videotaping business because of Mike. He has such an energy about him. He has a knowledge about him that makes it easy to want to follow and learn from him. And we was
Yeah.
talking the other day, just to give you an overview how we got here. We was talking the other day, and we was talking about doing this particular video and what would be the topic to do it. And I was started talking about a book that used to be the #1 book in the country for over 5 years that nobody talks about anymore that fits this time right now. And once I named the book, the Mike decided maybe we should say use it this way. So I'm gonna use it. If Mike want to jump in there, he can. He said, "Has COVID-19 moved your cheese?" Now, if you remember, there was a book called "Who Moved My Cheese" by Spencer Johnson. It was on the bestseller list for over 5 years. Now we're in this place where everybody's cheese has been moved. So what are you going to do that your cheese has been moved? Because I was at Save a Lot the other day, getting some things, and I noticed the shelves was kind of empty. This Save a Lot been there, and it's been there so long, it's historical. And I said, well, what's going on? He said, well, they're closing the store. So I'm putting in applications in other places. In other words, they moved his cheese. So he's trying to
Mm.
find somewhere else where he can get cheese so he don't starve to death, where he can take care of his family. If somebody moved your cheese, what are you going to do? And I don't want to hog all the time, so I'm going to step back just a second and let Mike step in here.
Yeah, what Akey is talking about, actually, we met up and did some video work. He and I do a lot of video stuff for promoting our business, and he has two different channels. I got a few channels on YouTube also, but what we were talking about was basically how this COVID-19 has affected people and how really it is just radicalized everything, right? Because I don't think we've ever experienced anything. I know I've been on this world for over 50 years, and I've never experienced anything that I could say was like this. They shut you down. You can't go. You can't even go to church these days, right? And
Right.
they just, there's restrictions and changes and things. And because Key and I are public adjusters, we are considered essential businesses. So we still, in effect, even though there's a shutdown, even though there's a curfew, even though they don't want people in the streets or whatever the case may be, if a client calls us up and says, "Hey, I got some damage, I can, I need some help," then it's we are, we're mandated to go out there and help them. So, one of the things that a key said to me that was very enlightening was the fact that, and I'd like you to expand on that, Akey, was the fact that even though we're going through this who moved the cheese situation, all these changes that we're experiencing in life, it's the people that are picking up new skills that are going to survive. There are some people, believe it or not, that are saying, okay, I'll wait this out. I'll wait for
Yes,
it to
right,
go back to normal. And normal doesn't exist anymore.
right.
There's a new normal. So what do you want to touch on with that, Akey?
Yeah, thank you, Mike. About a week and a half ago, I did a video on adaptability. And
Mm,
adaptability is when something takes place and you have to find a way to adapt to it, to survive it, to make your way through it. For any of you out there that watch sports, this will make a better illustration for you. If a team keeps stopping you from running the ball, then you have to adapt to that so you can find a way to open up the running game so that you can be successful. Because if you don't adapt, you won't be successful. Now, as we well know, the dinosaurs couldn't adapt, so they disappeared off the face of the earth. God has
mm,
given us the innate ability to adapt to any given situation if we so choose. See, the operative word here is choose. So, like Mike says, some people
mm,
have folded their arms and said, "We're going to wait this thing out." Well, if you remember back in February, we was told a couple of weeks. So yes, we all kind of had that mindset. A couple of we had no big deal. We could ride this out. We could wait this out. Well, it's 7 months later, and we still riding out waiting on it. Well, it has not changed. And for those who don't adapt, who don't change, let me give you another for instance. Say for instance, you got a small restaurant business. Let's say you got 20 employees, and you decide, okay, we're just gonna keep waiting till wait till it's over. You know what's gonna eventually happen? You're gonna end up closing up and not have any business. Or you could say, okay, since we got 20 employees standing around really serving no purpose, not functioning, why don't we start a service where we'll deliver the food to the people's houses? We could take
mm.
half the staff, do that, and we could just take half, 4 hour intervals, however you want to do it, so we could stay in business. That way we could all make some money, we could all keep paying our bills, we could all do something, or we could sit here and wait for it to happen. Now the ones who decided to make the deliveries are adapting. They found a way to find the cheese that's been moved. The ones who decide they just gonna sit there and wait, well, they cheese been moved and they waiting for it to come back. It's not coming back. So we need to adapt. We need to find a way to move forward. We need to make changes. And Mike keeps bringing this up, and I'm a jump on it with him. When Mike came to me with the videotaping of YouTube and all that, I knew nothing. He'll tell you I knew nothing about it. I was done with a box of rocks about this. But he dragged me into the future. And thank God he did, because of that, I was able to adapt and move into the future. Whereas a lot of people that was with us still have not adapted. And their business is starting to fail because they won't adapt. Anything you want to add to that, Mike?
Yeah, well, first of all, you mentioned your YouTube channel, and I like for you. You got two separate YouTube channel. One where you do your Bible studies and explain Bible lessons, and one where you use that for your public adjusting business. Would you like to? And by the way, guys, if you're looking at this, take some time to look at his adaptability video because it's excellent. Excellent. It's kind of right in frame with what we're talking about now. But Akey, what are those two channels that anybody that's looking at this can look at? And then I want to go into something else. Go ahead.
Okay, well, the one that got everything started was Mercer County Public Adjuster. I got a Facebook page for that. I got a YouTube channel for that. That's all about business. That's all about the public adjuster industry. And one of the main videos on that helped me get started was, what is a public adjuster? Because a lot of people still don't know what a public adjuster is. So I created that so people could look at it and know what it is. Really short video, less than 4 minutes, but it give you a really detailed idea what a public adjuster is. And there's quite a few videos on there. They even got one that explains the HO1 homeowner policy. They got things on there that tell you how people got into this business, who were teachers, who were different walks of life, and are able to adjust and survive this. And this is all about how to help yourself become better, how to get in touch with us. And my other channel is Reverend Akey Ahiem channel, Reverend Ahiem channel, where it's about teaching and preaching the gospel of our Lord and Savior Jesus Christ, where I teach, preach, pray, and prophesizing to people's life to help them better understand the Bible, to grow them in word, wisdom, and deed. And that's what I do. That's what I am. I am a preacher. Matter of fact, my name around our company is preacher. That's what they call me. And so that's what I do. That's what I am. I'm licensed by man, bonded by the Holy Spirit. So with that being said, I'm gonna turn it back to Mike.
Yeah, well, you know what, Akey, and I'm glad you shared that. And again, I encourage anybody that's looking at this to look Akey up. It's actually mercercountypublicadjuster.com. If you put that on your browser, it'll take you right to his Mercer County Public Adjuster YouTube channel. And his other channel is Reverend Akey Ahiem in YouTube. That's where he talks about his Bible. But let me ask you this, because again, when I entered the company 7 years ago, and you were already a trainer with the company, and I was impressed with your training skills and the way you held yourself and all those things. We're talking now about a man who is up there in age, right?
70 years old.
70 years old, right? But you're still going out there and learning new skills. You're still picking up new skills. You are still, what gives you that motivation? What gives you that that energy to go out there and continue to improve yourself?
Well, I want to help my customers, first of all. The more knowledge I attain, the better I can help my customers. And that was for the basics. But when it got ready to move into the future, I had to see somebody who was energetic, who was motivated, who was an expert at what they were talking about. It wasn't somebody who was just blowing smoke or saying, try something that hadn't did it. I looked at your resume, I seen your resume, I seen your body of work. You're very highly energetic, you're entertaining, you make it interesting. And, you know, and by nature, I'm a teacher. I'm the oldest of 9 kids. So therefore, I've been teaching all my life. I just don't know no other way. So because of that, it was easy for me to fall into the teaching mode and stay there. And I realized the more I learn, the more I can help people, which is what we do, right? We help people. A lot of people think this is about money, but it's more about helping people, because the more people you help, the more you're going to advance in life.
Yeah. So let me ask you this, man: is your picking up this new skill? If you learning how to do online marketing and video marketing in particular for your business and for your prophesizing, is that your form of somebody moving the cheese for you, or is that something that you just decided? I see this as a new avenue, and I want to take advantage of that.
Well, first of all, we started this before the pandemic hit.
Right.
So you helped put me in place so that when the cheese got moved, I didn't have to worry about it. Because in the very emphases of everything, we used to use the newspapers to get word out to people. Well, that's almost obsolete anymore. Then everybody jumped on the Craigslist and whatnot, and they used that up so much that's almost obsolete. So where do you go from here? And I didn't know nothing about YouTube and videotaping and all. I had no clue whatsoever. And then you came along and say, I found a better way. I said, oh yeah, just tell me what you're talking about. And you showed me, you helped me, you showed me how to program, how to add, how to subtract it, how to split it, how to cut it, how to edit it. And I said, okay, I'm learning. And one good thing about same way this company operates, if I run into a problem, all I got to do is pick up the phone and call you, and you walk me through the situation, and it gets fixed, and I can keep it moving the same way our company operates. if somebody, one of our trainees or somebody get into a situation they don't know how to handle it, they just pick up the phone and call one of us and we walk them through it. So it actually works hand in hand.
Right, right. And I mean, you know what's interesting is that Aki and I work out of the Cherry, or we right now the offices are closed, but we worked out of the Cherry Hill office, and we were part of a mastermind group that was called the 100K team. We both share a mentor named Art Latanzi,
Yes.
and Art taught us a lot of great things. But I remember doing a training in the Cherry Hill office about video marketing, and there were only two people. I think there was maybe 10 or 12 people that was in the training, and it was two, Mr. Steve Wallback and Akey Ahiem, that really took on to the thing. And you know what's interesting is that during that training, everybody was nodding their head. Everybody was saying, yeah, yeah, oh yeah, that makes sense. Oh yeah, yeah, of course, yeah. It makes sense to be able to use social media and video and stuff like that. But it was only Akey Ahiem and Steve Wallback that actually took the actions to do that, to actually pick up the skills. And a lot of the times, Akey Ahiem, I know he was just, he would come with his laptop and say, hey, Mike, I got this little problem here. And we'd go over it and boom, he'd catch it and no more problem, right? But you got to expect that. Some people let one little problem derail them, and then they say, that's not for me. That's too much trouble. It's too much technical stuff. But a key, and both Steve Wallback also. Steve is over 60 years old, and to me, it's a beautiful thing to be able to see that change, to see that growth, to see that motivation in wanting to help other people. And a key is also passing that down to the people that he trains. So if anybody is looking at this and wants to be a public adjuster and wants to use social media, I'm telling you, Akey Ahiem is somebody that you want to pick up the phone and get in contact with and say, hey, I saw that video. I'd like to get some information. Anything you want to add to that, Akey?
Yeah, you said something the 80-20 rule. Remember that? The 80-20 rule? Okay. What did you just say? You said there was 10 people there, 2 people, which is the 20, did it, and the 8 people didn't, which 80% will not and 20% will. So as
Right.
long as we understand that, we don't get frustrated. We'll always be able to move forward, because if we think everybody's going to jump in, everybody's going to be on board, then we set ourselves up for failure. We will always be frustrated. So if we just realize everybody, this is not for everybody. Everybody's not going to do it, no matter how many people shake their head, yes, 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 but yeah, and their heart say, but the thing of it, do I believe it? That's what moves
Right.
you forward. Do I believe it? So and because a lot of times, and here's something for you, Mike. What happens with that is your mouth engage in action before your brain has a chance to think it through.
Yeah, that's right.
So what makes teaching so rewarding, and this, Mike, when you see the light go on in their eyes. When that light go on, there's nothing like that in the world, because they got it now, and you can sit back and just tweak it with them. But other than that, they're ready to go. And that's what makes it so exciting. And that's what makes being around you exciting, because no matter how much I learn, I won't ever probably catch up with you, but I'll always be ahead of who's behind me. Because I'm ready to race.
Well, let me ask you this, man. Let me ask you this, because, before, like I said, I keep going back to when I first started with Metro, and you were already a trainer. You were already in the front. You were already a good teacher. So you already had these qualities where, some people get freaked out because a camera is pointing at them. You're not one of those people. You're totally comfortable with teaching, with communicating, with getting a point across from one mind to the next. You don't have a problem. Oh my God, there's a camera there. Or some people they talk animated, and then when the camera's on, they're all stiff. Right? That's not you.
I'm glad you brought that up, because In the video that you that I did that you seen about my life journey, it talks about when I was a kid. I was on stage. I was always given accolades because my ability to read and I was a smart kid.
Right.
Well, as a kid, I had to lead roles in the plays. I was up on stage in front of a bunch of people. I never even thought about that till you just now brought it up. So I was being groomed to be in front of people at an early age, and I didn't even realize it till you just said it. So at an early age, I'm in front of people. I had no fear of it because at that age, you really don't fear a lot. Most people fall into that fear after they get older because they fear failure. But because of the success I had on stage as a child, I didn't know any fear. And plus, I played sports where I was in front of a lot of people. I played soccer at Trent High. There were 3,000 kids there. So when people, I was just in the forefront a lot. So being in front of a camera was just another step for me. But if my life would have been different, it might have worked different. But because of that, in other words, I was prepared for it.
Right, right. Very interesting. I and I'd like to get your point of view on this. Do you think if a person is that type where they're, they stiffen up, or they're not familiar, or they're worried about having a bad hair day or whatever, do you think you could still get over that and still become, a good communicator on video?
Absolutely. I've met people that used to get physically sick from having to be able to speak in public. I mean, they would literally have to go somewhere and just let it all come out of them because that fear was that great in them. But you know what overcomes fear? Success. If you start getting a little success and start seeing that it didn't kill me. I survived it. I adapted to it. So I don't. I can now do this. And perfect example. Lori Fantini still don't like to speak in front of people. One of the most successful people in our company. She does it because she literally has to, but it ain't something that she relegates to do. Like with me, the more people you put me in front of, because I'm a preacher, the more energy I get. So, but yes, people can overcome it. I've seen people overcome it. Again, my pastor loves to say, it's a mindset. It depends, what's greater? You want what you wanted to accomplish or the fear that's present?
That's a good point. That's a good point. I teach people how to do the video stuff. And what I tell people is to set up their cell phone somewhere in the room, right? Set it to record, and then invite a kid into the room and talk about something you're passionate about. Maybe it's politics, maybe it's religion, maybe it's God, maybe it's future goals, whatever, but something that really energizes you. And forget about the camera, forget about the cell phone is recording. Just get into the conversation and you'll see you become animated. And people do this naturally. They do this naturally, right? Where the volume of their voice and the tone and the tempo, it modulates. Their gestures just come out naturally because it's something that energizes you. And then when the person leaves, you could go back and look at that and say to yourself, man, I communicate well, right? It's only when you become self-conscious about the camera being on that you think you got to be proper. You think you gotta stiffen up. You think you gotta, pronounce every word the right way. That's not how it works. The reality is some of the best speakers in the world are people that mispronounce things sometimes. Sometimes they, but it's just you being yourself. And that's what I love about you, because really you have a great smile like what you have right now, and you go out there and naturally this just happens naturally for you. And that's what people need to do, is release themselves naturally, and they'll see they look pretty good.
Well, I'm glad you brought that up because I remember as a young man, because what happens is you get caught up in perfection.
Yeah, right.
You want to be perfect, only to realize you're not. And once you realize you're not, and you realize I can overcome my mistakes, because say for instance, I'm preaching a sermon and I get caught up and I start saying stuff because I see in pictures. So because I see in pictures, I sometimes I I I be on fast mode and I'll be saying something that's ahead of what I'm talking about, and I make a mistake. But do you think for 1 second that I stopped and said, "Oh, excuse me, y'all, I just made a mistake. Let me see"? No, nobody know I made a mistake because they've never heard this before. So all I do is just in my mind, I market it that, yeah, okay, and keep it moving. I just keep on going and a lot of people, that's what happened to people. They make a mistake and they try to fix it, then they start fumbling. And to give you a perfect example of that, one of my downline, Ralph Greer, you met him, you know, how much has he improved? Ralph used to fumble over
Incredible.
words, make mistakes because he was thinking too much. He was trying to be perfect. But the last one we did, woo, because of the practice he put,
Right.
the effort he put in, he just smooth sailed through it. I was so impressed. Oh, you go, boy. So yes, people can overcome it all. It's just like everything else. They call it in sports. They call it muscle memory. If you do it enough, your memory will take over because you've trained it. But if you don't, it's when you'll find yourself falling off the book. Because that's why we teach all the time, because you stay in that mode. You don't have to worry about trying to do it every once in a while. You do it on a regular basis, it'll just come to you like that.
Absolutely. And you know, in the context, and we're going to be closing this soon, so I'm going to ask for your final ideas here. But in the context of, did COVID-19 move your cheese, right? Which was the subject that we decided we were going to speak on.
Right.
How did video do that for you, and is it continuing it to do it? And now, like you said, you brought up Ralph Greer, a great gentleman who again has expanded over the last, I don't know how many months and how many years, really has just just overwhelmingly expanded. And very proud of Mr. Ralph. If you're looking at this, man, super job with that last video. But what final statements can you give us with the how has COVID-19 moved your cheese in the context of video?
Okay, COVID-19 moved our cheese. I'm gonna say ours because we're in the same business. Because our main business was going to people's houses, right? Our cheese got moved because people don't want you in their house no more.
Mm,
So how do we adapt to that? I can't go in the house. How am I supposed to do what I need to do? So my cheese was moved. But the company had already started on the way to do this before COVID-19 hit. We just hadn't put it into full blown up operation because there was no need to. But COVID-19 pushed us into the head. But because I was already into the mode of doing videos and different things, moving into that area wasn't a big deal. Why? Because now, instead of being at the house, we could do it through Zoom. And I'm used to talking to
right.
people anyway, through videos, through Zoom. So that wasn't a big ask for me. Okay, now we got to learn how to use DocuSign and all this. Okay, now, okay, all right, that's another thing that they move my cheese. Why? Because I'm not there in person. How do I get them to sign the paperwork and all this? How do I do that? Oh, well, we got that. We got a DocuSign which the company pays for. Okay, now I just got to learn how to use it. And I'm not afraid. Why? Because you've already introduced me, helped me overcome any of those fears through the video and everything. So now, what else are we gonna do? How do we schedule appointments and all this? Oh, we got Calendly or different calendars that we use where they can schedule the appointments through that, set it up for when they can be available. So we could go in and we could look at through Zoom, which I really love. You can share the screen so you can put their insurance declaration page up on the screen and show them what's good and what's not good about it, how you can write the claim, why you can't write the claim. You could do all this, because before we used to do all this in person. And then they told us we couldn't, because people say, no, I don't want you coming to my house, might endanger me. So that moved our cheese. But now that we could do all this, we adapted. We did the necessary that we need. And you know what I love about it? It's faster, it's quicker. So now instead of having to keep up with the paperwork, it's all electronic. It just flows. So as soon as they sign, you sign and send it in. Man, what a wonderful thing. And I write more claims sitting home than I ever did running up and down the highway. And you know what else was, they moved my team, but I'm glad it got moved, because now I don't have to drive up and down the dangerous highways. I don't have to worry about the gas. I don't have to worry about if I get there, the client might be late getting there. I have to sit there. Now, if they late on Zoom, it's not a really big deal, because I'm sitting there waiting. And so, yeah, that's what really moved our cheese, the ability to be there with the homeowner in person. But now through Zoom, you can still see their faces, you still talk to them, and you literally be right next to them. So it's a great and wonderful thing. Even though it got moved, because of being adaptable, we are still the most successful company in the United States of America.
Yep. I agree. I agree 100%. And just in closing, guys, if you're looking at this, and number one, a key is impressive, even just sharing the screen with me here, and just by listening to the man for 5 minutes, he knows what he's talking about. He has a lot of energy. He has a lot of knowledge, and he's an excellent mentor. So if you are looking for a change, if you're looking for, what, I need to find new friends, I need to get a new person to help me take my life to the next level. This career of being a public adjuster, I'll tell you what, guys, it's a fascinating career. You make money helping people without having to buy or sell anything. We don't buy or sell anything, yet we do a business that, as Akey is saying, we do it right from our home. We do it right through Zoom, and we can help you. Mr. Akey Ahiem is looking to mentor other people, as I am also. But pick up the phone and give either one of us a call and say, hey, guys, you know what? I saw your video. I'm interested in doing something on the side. And you might want to, there's a lot of people there's millions, tens of millions of people that are unemployed. But you might want to do something even while you have your main career, right? You have your main job. You might want to do something. Or the other thing that you might want to also think about is, if you got a damage to your home. We didn't get too much into what a public adjuster does, but as public adjusters, we help homeowners when they experience damage. We help them line things up so that when they do their claim, we get them the highest possible settlement. Because a lot of times the insurance companies, if you don't have things lined up, they won't give you all that you're supposed to get. So we are experts at doing that. So either way, whether you see a career opportunity here because the COVID moved your cheese, or you have an issue with your home and you'd like for either one of us to go over there and help you out, pick up the phone, give us a call, Mr. Akey Ahiem, myself, and let us help you. Let us move, let us find the cheese that was moved for you, right? Anything you want to close on, Mr. Akey?
Yes, there is a way that that we help people in such a way that it's if a person has filed a claim and gets denied, this is probably the greatest joy I get out of this business. We can reopen that claim and get the money that the insurance company denied the giving them. Or if they didn't get paid enough, we can reopen that claim and get the money that they should have gotten in the first place. We could do that for them. We're advocates for them. I just didn't get into that out like that because we a lot of times me and you play off of each other, so we keep it that way. But I want to tell you this. Mike was talking about you might want to do this as a side hustle. Well, Mike got an excellent video called it Side Hustle. You ought to check it out. It is great. And the reason I can tell you it's great, because I watched it myself. Oh, yes, I'll watch all his videos because, again, I'm in the learning process. If it can help me help my people, then I'm going to do it. I'm going to learn it. So if you get a chance, Mike Martinez, check it out. Side hustle. And this business could be a side hustle for you. You can find out that you can become essential. You can make money. And even if the people don't want you to come to their house, you can still make money. But how would you like to just sit home, make money by drinking your coffee and helping people at the same time? You ought to give us a call and find out how this works.
Absolutely, man. Absolutely. Thank you very much for that plug on a great side hustle. That's the name of the video, guys. You go on YouTube and you put a great side hustle and you'll see it. You'll see it there, or you can contact me directly and I'll direct you. Again, Akey Ahiem's channel is Reverend Akey Ahiem. That's his religious channel. And the other one is mercercountypublicadjuster.com. If you just put that on your browser, mercercountypublicadjuster.com, it'll take you right to his public adjusting YouTube channel. And you can see a lot of great stuff that he's always updating it, guys. He has a very successful channel. And you'll learn a lot from Akey. And if you're looking for a good mentor, you're looking for something to do on the side, then you're at the right place at the right time. Look up Mr. Akey. Akey, thank you very much for opening the time. I know you had a busy day today, and I said, let's see if we could squeeze something together, man, because I like to share your knowledge, and I appreciate you doing that, buddy.
I appreciate you asking me, thinking that much of me. And I call him Master Mike for a reason. Learn from him.
Yeah, well, thank you, man. I appreciate your time. Thank you, and thank you for all you do for me. And we'll be speaking soon, my man.
Amen.